Blast me to the mortal realms! It's time for the Mad Merlins review of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer, issue 26, by Hachette Partworks and Games Workshop. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Mad Merlins Stormbringer issue reviews. And today we're bringing you 26, and you will notice it's not in the bag. That's because I seem to have misplaced the footage for this particular issue. I found out last night while posting up issue 25. So I'm now having to refilm, ready for next week. But here we are anyway with issue 26. It's a paint issue, so not a lot to write home about. But we do get two rather handy colours for the collection. So first off then, we've got Corn Red, and this is a fantastic, nice, deep red. Perfect for painting a lot of different things. So I think in the collection we'll be using it partly to highlight the Baraknar Burgundy on the Caradron Overlords when we get around to doing them. It'll also probably be used on some of the Stormcast bits, and maybe some other. I think in the paint guide we actually use this on the Cruel Boys as well for tassels and stuff. So really handy colour. I use this quite a lot, mainly on my Crimson Fists. But I am starting to use... it's one paint I quite like to use a lot, so it's always handy. And the other paint we get is a contrast paint, so Gryph-hound Orange. If I remember rightly, we don't actually see this used in the magazine, but I'm thinking this will come in handy later on when we start doing flame effects. And I'm thinking we'll see it more in the next issue when we get the Gryph-hounds. There's a nice orange colour. I haven't used it that much, but it's still pretty handy. I can probably see myself using it more and more as the collection goes on. But anyway, let's go vertical and we'll dive into issue 26. So here we have issue 26, and first and foremost we have a Lumineth Realm Lord there, which is a big indication as to what's on the interior of the magazine. So we have Lumineth Realm Lords, Daughters of Kane and Idoneth Deepkin for our background sections, and we also have a little bit about Gorka Morka. For our collect articles, we have all about the Dawnbringer Crusades, the Gathering War, so adding more flesh to our backgrounds for our two warbands. We have a paint guide for Corn Red, then we have play core rules, tutorial for two of the command abilities, and we have Hold or Die, our mission for the week. So let's start off with the Lumineth Realm Lords. The Lumineth Realm Lords are paragons of grace, wisdom, and warfare. So strong were the Lumineth that their power and hubris brought them to the brink of annihilation. Now they fight to reclaim the lost empire, their towering talents harnessed by a culture of discipline, learning, and respect for the elements. So yeah, these are elves of light. They are the end result of Teclis's forgotten the word. Striving to create the perfect elven race. His failures can be seen in the Idoneth Deepkin, but these were his greatest successes. They are a pretty much paragon and replica of the classic High Elves from Warhammer Fantasy. So we got phalanxes of long spearmen. We've got dual-wielding hammer guys here, which are fairly new. And we also have classic Swordmaster type as well. So yeah, as I've mentioned, Teclis is part and parcel of the twin gods of the Lumineth, the other one being his brother Tyrion. I believe Tyrion is now blinded, I think, but he still is a master with the blade. Teclis is the highest, most powerful mage next to the likes of Sigmar. But yeah. So, spirits of Hysh, the realm of light, have come to life to aid the Lumineth. Here we have Avalanor, an elemental spirit with a bovine sort of physique, wielding twin hammers and carries around a mountain on his shoulders, pretty much. And the realm stone for the realm in particular is ether quartz, used by the elves, helps them tap into the magic a lot more. And yeah, it's often seen in magical weapons, sometimes as jewellery. Very handy little stone. Moving on then, we got another elven faction, and this is probably one of my favourite elven factions, the Daughters of Kane. The Daughters of Kane are a bloodthirsty warrior cult fanatically dedicated to wiping out chaos. They are devoted to their murderous goddess, Marathi Kane, and they are notoriously ruthless. When the Daughters of Kane go to war, the battlefield is turned into a ritual ground to be drenched in blood. So yeah, the Daughters of Kane, not the first and foremost you to think of when you think of a faction of order, but they are part of the pantheon of gods dedicated to keeping chaos slain and eliminated. And yeah, Sigmar tolerates their blood sacrifices. I mean, most of the people that do sacrifice do tend to be chaos worshippers, but they are not without partaking and sacrificing loyal followers of Sigmar as well. So yeah, Marathi Kane is the god-like serpent creature at the heart of the Daughters of Kane, and she is a pure embodiment of her god Kane, the blood god. She has rather, as I said, serpentine physique. She can change her form from a elven, normal elven form into her serpentine form. And yeah, she is pretty much the embodiment of her god, so she's pretty nasty. Common amongst the Daughters of Kane are the covens of blood. They often push cauldrons of blood around in battlefields, where they sacrifice their enemies to the avatar of Kane there. And he has been known to be animated through their sacrifices and adds more and more blood to the blood tithe. Twisted Terrors, not all of these are pure elven. A lot of them are combined with the various dark creatures. So we have the Kinnerai here, who are kind of merged with the Harpies. They have wings sprouting from their backs, but are otherwise elven in appearance. They take to the skies with sickled blades and spiked shields. We also have, if we go back a page, we have the Melusai, who are half elf, half snake, with a scorpion stinger on the end. These tend to be expert archers and can make use of their quick bodies to reposition and get kill shots. Most common, though, are the Witch Elves, the main force of the Daughters of Kane there. And yeah, you'll notice that the Daughters of Kane are a purely female faction. That's because males are often shunned and are used only for one particular course, and that is to breed the next generation of warrior women. The few men that do actually partake in the Daughters of Kane's battle tactics are the Warlock Riders, who are the very rare chance of a male being imbued with magical abilities. They will ride ahead of their warbands and take down the enemies with magic bolts. But yeah, very matriarchal society, the Daughters of Kane. Our final elven faction then is the Idoneth Deepkin. So, the Idoneth Deepkin are undersea raiders who wield titanic power of the ocean. A soul curse has forced the Idoneth into an unending struggle for survival, but this has not broken them. Instead, it has forged them into one of the realm's most terrifying enemies. They strike without warning or mercy. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the Idoneth are a soulless race, and they are the end result, the failure result of Teclis's chance to create a perfect society. And they have been shunned, and they spend most of their time in the waters and the shadow lands of Ulgu. So the hierarchy of souls, the higher position you have within the Idoneth Deakin, the more likely you are to possess a soul. They are adept at riding sea creatures, such as the giant turtle-like Leviathans and even the shark-like Achelians. And they are particularly fond of raiding other settlements, both loyal to Sigmar and enemy, in order to collect souls to try and feed their never-ending urge to consume. So next up we have a bit of background about Gorkamorka. So this is the twin-headed god of destruction, embodying both sheer brutality and low cunning. He is not worshipped in temples through whispered prayers, but through sheer mindless violence. So yeah, we've had a little bit about Gorkamorka before, but here we have a little bit more. He is, as we've mentioned, the two-headed god of destruction, embodying the two different sides that the forces see as what makes the best leader. So they have the cunning brutality, and they have the brutal cunning. So yeah, Gordrak is the Fister Gork, one of the Iron Jaws who has risen to such power that he has been said to have the embodiment of Gork within him, and leads great wars across the mortal realms. So in the Age of Myth, Sigmar secured Gorkamorka's allegiance through a series of titanic duels with the twin-headed god. Their allegiance was broken, and Sigmar's cities are now fair game for his faithful followers. Gorkamorka's blessings often come to fruition in great strength or keen mind. And he is fond of having avatars built for him. So here we have an idol created to represent one of the sides of Gorkamorka, and has been brought to life through fell magics. And finally we have a little bit here about Behemat, the king of the god of the Gargants. So moving on, we got a little bit of background information to help expand the story for our particular Dawnbringer crusade. So every city of Sigmar begins life as a Dawnbringer crusade, a collection of warriors, pioneers and settlers whose goal is to establish a new bastion of civilization. Roll on the table below to find out what type of city your Dawnbringer crusade will create, or simply pick the one that you prefer. So yeah, we've got a nice D6 chart here. Now we can roll to see what our city will be and the starting part of its name. And on the other side, we get to roll to see what the population will be like and the last part of the city's name. And then we have the city's name here and signed and dated by whoever it was officiated by. So the leader of your force, perhaps. And we have a very similar thing for the Uruks and their followers with the Gathering War here. A war is something between an army, a brawl, and a natural disaster. A war can start from a single fight, and once in full swing, more followers of destruction will be drawn to the conflict. Roll on the tables below to see how your war started, or choose the best result that you prefer. So again, we got a D6 chart here. Gives you a little bit of background how your war started, and also the first name of the war. And then we have the population, what it's mainly made up of, and the final part of the war. And we can write in the name of the war down here and the name of the current leader of the war. As we see, we have quite a few crossed out ones there already. So moving over to the Issues paint guide, we are just looking at one of the paints, and that is Corn Red. So we're going to be using it in quite a few ways, mainly on our Griff Charger here from issue 21, where we are picking out the feathers and the claws and horns in Corn Red. And we're also picking out corn red on the Knight Arcanum's tome there, giving a little bit more colour to our Stormcast models. And then for our cruel boys, we are doing the fletchings on the arrow, bits of straps, gore on various different models. So just check around. Some of the leering faces along the belts are also picked out in corn red and on the shoulder pads. So just take your time going around each of your models, do them a unit at a time if you want, just to make sure you aren't missing anything. And yeah, it'll give a little bit of spot of colour to our rather cool models so far. Excuse me. Right, moving on, we got background. This is actually rules. We have rules for the shooting and charge phases here. So, and a couple of command abilities: Forward to Victory and Unleash Hell. So we have combat phase and rules for the strike first and strike last abilities as well. So yeah, we got quite a lot. We are almost to the end of our complete core rules section. So a few more pages yet to go though. And we've got a tutorial here for Forward to Victory. So it allows us to be a bit more flexible with our rerolls on charging. So if you see he's failed an 8-inch charge here, so he's going to use the command ability of Forward to Victory, re-rolling it into a success. And then we have Unleash Hell, which allows a unit within range of a unit that was charged in order to, and allows them to shoot, as we can see here, helping to slay a few enemies that charge on in. And our mission for the issue is Hold or Die. So we got our two forces on the side of order. We have the Lord Imperatant, Knight Arcanum, Guard of Steel Soul, Lord Aquila, Stormstrike Chariot, the 4 Praetors, the 5 Vindictors, and the 4 Xandire's Truth Seekers. And on the destruction side, we've got the Swamp Caller Shaman with Potgrot, Kill Boss with Stabgrot, Loon Boss, Hobgrot Slitters, 10 of them, 3 Mad Skewer Bolt Boys, the Beast Skewer Killbow, 10 Gut Rippers, and the Marshcrawler Slogoff. So we're pretty much using everything we have, and this is how our battle goes down. So the destruction deploys in the central 4 rectangles there, and then the good gets a chance to deploy anywhere they want around the outside there. So I think the rules are all forces of order are placed into reserves using the Scions of the Storm. Goes for 5 rounds. If all Cruel Boys units are any Cruel Boy units left on the battlefield game, and at the end of the game, Cruel Boys win. Otherwise, it's a good victory if they manage to wipe them out. And when a Stormcast unit is destroyed, you can immediately place it. You place a unit of the same size into your reserves, and then can deploy it during your next reinforcement step. So it just shows a continuous assault from the forces of destruction. Order even. So yeah, pretty cool. Some nice unique rules, but it is just another hit them hard and see who can hit the most at the end of the day. So moving on, we have issue 27 will include our unit of Griffhounds. From what I can gather, there was a packaging error and every issue got sent out with only the 3 instead of the 6. So the other 3 are coming in issue 30, 31 I think it is. But yeah, so we will only get 3. Luckily I have 3 already for Mortal Realms, so I can easily make the unit 6 anyway. And in issue 28 we get Zarbag's Gits, so another Underworld's warband. One I never got. Never really the biggest fan of Grots, but it looks a fun little warband. But yeah, pretty cool. Background wise, we got more about the Dawnbringer Crusades and more command abilities, and we learn about the growing menace of the Gits, and we learn about inspiring presence in our games. Whew. So there we have it. That was issue 26 of Stormbringer. Fantastic little issue, nice lot of background on the elven factions of the Mortal Realms. Paint guide could have been a little bit more expanded on, but I know we are not using a lot of colours that we're getting lately because they're being used in later issues. Because I know we get Baron Burgundy soon, and that will be used won't be used most likely until we get round to the Carriage on Overlords. But Corn Red is a fantastic paint. I love having it in my paint collection. I use it on a lot of models. If you're looking for a nice dark red, it's perfect. If you're looking for a brighter red, you're best off with Mephiston. And Grifthound Orange is one I've not used yet, although I believe it is used at some point on the Ogre that I'm currently painting up, so I will see what it's like on that. But we will probably use it in future issues anyway. So that's it for this video. I'd just like to say thank you all for watching. If you think I deserve it, please give this video a like. Excuse me, losing my voice. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop me a comment down below, as I love hearing back from all of you. Let me know how you're getting on with your Stormbringer collection. So, thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.